Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I just would like to thank you for taking time out of your day to come help us resolve this disagreement. There's a major disagreement. The city of Philadelphia claims that Farmer Joe, a hardworking citizen, is a murderer. Someone who invests in their community, who supplies food for a whole country, a whole nation, other countries, would do this heinous act. Now today, once the facts are proven or presented, I feel my client will be exonerated. First, I just want to introduce my client, Farmer Joe, and I feel like once you see the bigger picture and not the distorted picture that the prosecutor presented, you'll get to understand like what this is all about, who this person really is and what stake they have in their community. And for you to understand if this person goes away, who will be affected? So I just want to paint this picture of Farmer Joe, a hardworking citizen who never committed a crime. No criminal record. So why would one day just pop up and murder someone? It doesn't make any sense. Where's the history? And then he spends most of his time on the farm with his wife and kids. Doesn't go out of his way to exploit people. He doesn't sell them bad mortgages and then raise the prices on them. He's not that type of person. He's a hardworking citizen who goes day in and day out on his farm. Now, what does a farmer do? Operating a farm is very expensive. The cost of land, you have to budget for the cost of land. You have to figure out the budget for feeding the animals, for operating the machinery. A lot goes into that. So it doesn't make sense why Farmer Joe would risk all of that, leave his wife and kids, and does this act that can destroy all of that. Like I said, mentioned before, farming is like an unsung hero. The farmer is an unsung hero. Like teachers, the firefighters, they produce so much food for our countries, healthy food, not McDonald's. They produce all this food for the people of the community. And so why would you take this person away from our community who's so vital and has a major stake in our community? Why would you take that person away? Do you want to be involved in that, an accomplice for that, to take them away? I'm not saying this is what you're thinking that you would do something of that nature, but I just want to paint the picture and give you what's at stake, what's going on. And I'm going to ask 3 questions. Now, is it just? We talk about justice, and I really wanted to just take time to, so something tragic did happen. I acknowledge that. Tom Turkey was murdered. But as I see it, it was not my client who was at fault. And I think someone was taken from their family, their community, but justice should be done in the right way, and 2 wrongs don't make a right. The right person should be found guilty for this crime. It isn't my client. Fact, Tom Turkey did live on my client's farm. And as my colleague did mention, there was a 10-year contract that was signed. And so it doesn't make sense. Why would he destroy the contract? Because the person explicitly says in the contract that the person has to work on the farm. So if the person no longer is working on the farm, then the contract is voided. So in addition to that fact, the other fact is my client did come in contact with Tom Turkey on the day of his death. There's no disputing that. But fact, my client was not the last person to come in contact with the deceased. So you have to ask that question, like, who was the last person to see Tom Turkey alive? I want you to just think about that for a little bit. Who was the last person? And how can my client be held responsible for that? Now, there are other parties involved, and they're not here today. You have the butcher, the driver, the hostess, and it's not to suggest that they have, ulterior motives. I mean, if you think about it, we live in a very, we live in dire times economically. So people are, they're struggling for money. Money is tight. And so, like, why wouldn't someone really think, like, man, Farmer Joe, he has a, has a nice farm. He's making a little bit of money. Maybe we can get a little bit of that. Maybe their cut wasn't enough. And they felt they wanted to frame my client to help them get a little bit further in this tough economic time. So I feel that the butcher, the driver, the hostess, who I'm not going to, make suggestive comments, but she hosting, a party, it takes a lot. A lot of people want to come, and there's a lot of food to be eaten. And so, like, why wouldn't she want to continue that? Why wouldn't she want to make more money, take out the main supplier? No, seriously, take out the main supplier, you make more money, and you get, better food. So, all these facts are presented, and I feel like this is something that really should be considered. That should be taken seriously, because the possibility of a person, a hardworking citizen, will be taken away from their community, their family, and their society. And I feel that is an injustice. Your Honor.